The following is a community affairs presentation from the Ulster County Health Department. This is the Healthy Ulster Radio Show, a weekly presentation exploring community health and sustainability with guests representing a broad spectrum of community partners working to make Ulster County the healthiest in New York State. This program is sponsored by the Health Alliance of the Hudson Valley in Kingston, a member of the WMC Health Network.
Good morning. You are listening to Healthy Ulster Radio. I am your host, Dr. Carol Smith, Commissioner of Health and Mental Health for Ulster County. With me today is my co-host, Vin Martello, our Director of Community Health Relations. Good morning, Vin.
Good morning, Dr. Smith. How are you today?
I'm fine, thanks.
Dr. Smith, our topic today, it couldn't be more critical to individual health and community health, and that is the essential role of physical fitness and exercise. We have a very special guest who we'll introduce in a moment, but perhaps you can share with our listeners some of the statistics about what happens when there is a lack of physical activity or one has a sedentary lifestyle.
Well, one of the statistics that we're very concerned about and we're watching and we're trying to improve is that in Ulster County, about 27%, almost 28% of our adults are obese, and over 19% of our children are obese. And, we know there's certainly enough evidence to prove that physical activity helps us to maintain weight, to lose weight, to reduce high blood pressure, reduce the risk for type 2 diabetes, for heart attack, stroke, and several forms of cancer. Physical activity can reduce arthritis pain and the associated stiffness and disability. It can reduce the risk for osteoporosis and falls, which certainly we're concerned about among our aging population, and to reduce the symptoms of depression and anxiety, symptoms that very many of us are dealing with today.
And we know for a fact that a sedentary lifestyle, if you have a desk job, the National Institutes for Health put you at high risk unless you get up off your desk once an hour and move, basically walk around or take the stairs or whatever, or stretch or do some kind of activity, because
Absolutely.
It's really dangerous to be just sitting there
Absolutely.
Hour in and hour out. On that note, we have an esteemed guest, Lyle Schuler, who is the owner of Mac Fitness Gyms and founder of Mac Fit Kids, which is a great nonprofit that an after-school summer program for kids, focusing on physical activity and nutrition. Lyle has exceptional experience in the fitness field and a strong dedication to community. He's a Kingston High School graduate. He was a star athlete and scholar in college with a Bachelor of Science in Recreational Physical Education. He owned 5 award-winning clubs in Danbury, Connecticut. He's certified in personal training, aerobics, indoor cycling, sports performance, and this is a great one, the Disney management course, which we want to find out about that a little bit later.
I could use some of that.
He returned to Kingston to start the Mac Fitness Gyms. He served on our Partners in Public Health, which is great. And he's a huge community supporter, as I said earlier, with multiple service and sponsorships. MAC has been recognized for its sponsorship of Relay for Life, Making Strides for Cancer, the Heart Walk, Special Olympics, the Kiwanis 10K Classic, Toys for Tots, Miles for Medals Walk, and that's just to name a few. So Lyle, welcome.
Lyle.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for allowing me to be your guest and expose some of the benefits of exercise. Thank you. And since you didn't talk much about yourselves, I get a chance to say congratulations to both of you for helping us move up from 35th position, to 16, I think was the latest ranking on healthiest county in the state. So we've moved up.
Lyle, it really does take a village, and certainly your contribution has helped in that effort.
Boy, the minute I want to give some recognition to both of you, you turn it back around on me. But I think both of you deserve a lot of recognition for the improvement and the advancement of our county
Thanks,
in the New York
Lyle.
State
Thank
ranking.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Well, we've touched on your fitness background, but talk to us about why you developed a passion for fitness and how you got started helping people get fit.
I never really thought I could make a career out of fitness. Despite a physical education background, typically. My degree would have me, teaching phys ed or gym in a school, a middle school or a high school. But at the time, the opportunities for teaching were very limited when I graduated. So I actually started in one of the early health clubs, in the Hudson Valley called All Sport. Most, maybe a bunch of our listeners would remember All Sport. And then, now they were really one of the early clubs to adopt fitness equipment with racket sports. So that was really my start. I started there as a trainer, and never thinking that I would be still in the industry, 30 years later. At that time, there were very few career opportunities in health clubs, unless you owned a health club. And without two nickels to rub together, I never really thought I'd still be in it at this point. But I think that really would probably be the answer to your question, is that my passion I enjoyed, seeing people transform. It was really very satisfying for me and very fulfilling to see somebody who was dealing with, whether it was medical restrictions or whether it was some injuries, and we were able to rehabilitate them to live a more active life, or if it was somebody that just wanted to lose weight, or if it was somebody that was just stressed out and felt a little bit better about themselves. So all those things kind of kept me in the business because I really enjoyed it. Certainly my minimum wage rate didn't keep me in the business, so the fact that I enjoyed it, I kind of hung in there long enough to, stay with it, and that kind of put me where I am now.
Well, I'm sure there are people out there who are listening right now who say to themselves, I've never set foot in a gym. I wouldn't even know where to begin. It's maybe not for people like me. I don't really have the time. What advice do you have for people who would like to get started but just don't know how or what to do?
Yeah, no, I think you've really put your finger on the big question, because with all the information about how you can improve your health through exercise, isn't it surprising that less than 20% of people are exercising on a regular basis in this entire country? And I think we're only at 15% are actually members of gyms or health clubs. So when you think about all the information that's out there about how you can increase your strength, your endurance, increase your energy, decrease you're 3 times likely to be depressed, the advantages to helping weight loss. It's just surprising to know that we've only tapped into about 15% of the country. I think the concern that you just mentioned, a little bit of combination of not having the self-confidence to fit in, or not knowing what to do, and if I'm not sure what to do, I'm going to feel a little bit awkward. I think that's certainly some hesitation, and then also the fact that if I had a nickel for every time somebody said to me, I'm going to join your gym, but I've got to lose some weight first. I mean, yes. Is that something that really should? No, we help you do that. So I think that puts it kind of doubles down on what you just said. That there's a concern that maybe I have to be at a certain weight before I join a gym.
Yeah, and the one I always hear from people is, I'm too busy. And I say to them, I say right back to them, do you think I have time to do? I'm a single dad. I work a full-time job. I serve on a number of different community organizations. The reality of it is if you want to maintain a healthy life and a quality life, exercise is a vital component of that. There's just no way around it. And it doesn't mean that you have to go out and, work yourself to death or spend an enormous amount of time. We know that we can take small incremental steps toward the goal of getting more fit. Is that correct? Yes,
and I think that you've also addressed another point, is that, a lot of the general public, they want to get started, but at some point in their life they did too much too soon, and then there's some soreness that might be involved, and really the path to getting more fit, it's got curves in it, like the track. You got to go around it a couple of times. Where I think many people at some point in their life went at it like it was a sprint, and then with that, with a fast start or doing too much too soon, that often doesn't get you results. It almost can push somebody away from exercise because, I tried running and, they tried doing too much too soon. Maybe their knees hurt, back hurt, or was sore for a couple of days. And then all of a sudden it's like, I did it. And you know what? It's not really for me. I think the most important thing in starting an exercise program is that it's gradual and that you're not trying to do it every day. Because especially if you haven't done something, let it work into your lifestyle, in a way where it doesn't upset your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, when you said time, I think time is an obstacle for all of us in anything we want to do, whether it's, getting our garage and room cleaned up, or whether it's doing something in the backyard or taking the kids somewhere. We're never going to have enough time to do everything we really want to do. So I think that if you start off with a conservative approach of, I'm going to start with 30 minutes or 20 minutes twice a week. A conservative approach, and then I'm going to build it into my lifestyle instead of, turning my personal schedule upside down.
Right.
You've got a much better chance of not only seeing results, but a much better chance of building it into your weekly routine or your monthly routine. So I think those are a couple of things that would be, tips to getting started. Don't do too much too soon. The path to fitness has a curve in it. It's not a sprint. And the other being is start off with just 2 times a week. And I say that because you can actually start to get impact with 2 times a week. And don't do too long. Don't go for 2 hours 2 times a week. Go for 20 minutes twice a week or 30. So there's a gradual, not only your body will respond better, but also just fitting it into your schedule would be better and more realistic.
Right. I know I don't do a super fierce workout, but I do a consistent one. And to me, I just set aside that time for myself where I say, this is my time. Very rare do I have just my time in my world, so the phone goes off, no texts, no emails, and just really just enjoying the experience, even though I am, exerting physical activity. For me, it's a tremendous stress buster, and I feel completely energized. A lot of times I'll get out of work and say, I'm really exhausted, I'm really tired, I really don't want to go to the gym, but then I discipline myself to go, and then after the workout I feel great. I feel re-energized, and the best thing about getting healthier is that it feels really good and you want to do more of it, I find.
And everything you said, I think you've said it perfectly. Keep in mind that the hardest thing is getting started.
Right.
That's the hardest thing. It's always been the hardest thing since from 30 years ago when I started and right now. Still the hardest thing, that first step. Take that first step, not overdoing it and being careful with how much you do. And what you said about get away, put some headphones on and enjoy a 20 or 30 minute rowing workout or on a stair climb or something like that. And all of a sudden, you're right, you're feeling better. The endorphins are flowing, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I'm glad I came in. I'm glad I made the time. So
right. I know some
really
people start, they stop too early and they say, well, I'm not really getting the results. But I find there's about that 6-week threshold where you start beginning to feel like, wow, it's really beginning to change a little bit for me. I'm more energized and so on. But this is a great topic, and we want to get into it much more right after this short break. You're listening to Healthy Ulster Radio.
The excitement continues to build. The mission of Health Alliance is now made even stronger by our new partnership with the Westchester Medical Center Health Network. By combining a legacy of community-based care with WMC Health, we are building a stronger, healthier, and more vibrant community. We'll be collaborating to provide preventive, primary, specialty, and advanced care right here where you live, where we all live. Health Alliance and WMC Health, advancing care here. Visit HAHV.org to learn more.
Welcome back. You are listening to Healthy Ulster Radio. I am your host, Dr. Carol Smith, Commissioner of Health and Mental Health for Ulster County. With us today is Lyle Schuler. Lyle is a fitness expert and the owner of Mac Fitness Gym.
Lyle, when someone walks into your gym, as we discussed earlier, doesn't know anything about fitness or gyms or exercise routines or how to do it, how to participate, what happens? What process do you walk them through to ascertain their needs and their goals?
I think, as you brought up before, Vin, too, I just want to amplify that the greatest challenge is that, opening the door. So that exercise is the most important one in this process, is just, having that confidence to come in and be able to put yourself out there for, what your goals are, what restrictions you've had, and maybe what time you have available that you could put in your schedule fitness. So to walk you through that process, again, opening doors first, number one step. When we have somebody come in, the first thing we'll do is we'll actually kind of find out overall what their general fitness goals are, what their specific goals are, what their time available would be, and we would typically tour the club, show them the equipment, the exercise studios, explain all the different options and choices that they have, because people have choices with fitness. So somebody might want to take a class. Somebody might want to use the cardio equipment. Somebody might be interested more in strength. After we determine, what their preferences would be, whether it's classroom, cycling, gym equipment, we would then set up an appointment with a trainer, and that trainer is a certified. We have all nationally certified trainers on our staff, and a trainer, based on their availability, would come in on an appointment and then actually individualize their workout. So, Vin, if somebody came in and said, "Look, I have 30 minutes, and I have twice a week, and I really love, Zumba, but I need to get stronger. What can you recommend?" Well, we'd recommend a Zumba class, and then maybe a workout that would be focused on strength. And that's how we start off, is trying to customize and individualize based on somebody's goals and based on their time. That's really how we get started.
So are the components of the mix, and correct me if I'm wrong, is it flexibility, strength, and cardio capacity? Are those the three main?
So the 5 components, you just mentioned 3 of them. So strength, endurance, cardiovascular, and you look at flexibility, and you look at body composition. So somebody might be at the right body composition, muscle to fat ratio, but they want to be more flexible and they just want to be stronger. So we would focus on a class or an exercise routine that would enhance the flexibility, at the same time strength. Somebody else might want to lose weight, so there might be more emphasis on aerobic activity along with that weight loss. But at the same time, the more muscle you have and the more lean tissue you have, the higher your metabolism is. So the higher the metabolism, the more calories you're going to burn at rest, and the more enhanced weight loss you're going to have. So we're trying to make sure that we recommend a program that's going to achieve their goals. Everybody's goals being a little different.
And are there special concerns for folks that are aging? Do you have to take into account? I mean, I guess someone's age always matters.
Yeah. So, what a great point is with the, aging is, I'm part of this generation now myself, is that approximately 10,000 people approximately a day are turning 60. So we're looking at the baby boomers now, and they're also, they're in that 70 now. They're also tipping the scales at 70. So 10,000 people a day turning 70, turning 60, and everywhere in between. Because if you're born between 1945 and 1960, you're now in that spectrum. So guess what? More than ever, baby boomers, they are actually more conscientious of the fact that fitness plays a role in their health. And it's great to see more seniors coming in and more people, in that baby boomer generation. I think that, concerns there are what Carol, brought up earlier. Yes, bones are going to get a little more brittle. You're going to lose lean muscle, just by the aging process. So it's more important now, like for seniors, to be exercising than ever before. You're going to lose muscle, whether you want to or not. You're going to lose it, but you can retain it with strength training.
Right.
And yes, being concerned about going a little slower, certainly. Making sure that we have any restrictions that somebody has in advance of their workout, of course. So, but the recommendation exercise is still as strong, if not stronger, because at 20 you're naturally going to be overcome some obstacles health-wise that you may not be able to overcome when you're 70
Right.
or 65 or so on. So,
And then there are those of us who are getting up in that age and still are operating in the 29 state of mind. So you have to be careful a little bit. But
yeah, sometimes we do have to, like, put the reins on somebody. They want to, get on their treadmill and put it at 8 miles an hour, and go. And I'm like, just take it easy. It's got a curve. Remember, the goals. It has a curve in it. It's not a sprint. Not a sprint.
Well, from your experience, can you share one or two, maybe, or success stories of like people who came in to you and just really had a tremendous experience and were really do you have any off
Sure.
the top of your head?
I would say the ones that stand out, are obviously, somebody that is, say, 100 to 200 pounds overweight or over their normal weight or ideal weight. Those are some of the ones that stand out, where they came in, they said, look, I don't know if you can help me or not. I'm 200 pounds overweight. I've never exercised before. What can you do for me? I mean, I think those are the ones that really stand out in your head when a year later, a year and a half later, and 2 years later, they're 200 pounds less and they're living a completely different life, and we've helped them achieve it.
Right.
So, without naming names, I can think of several dozen people that have lost 100 to 200 pounds and how they never thought they could do it. Mm-hmm. And just the confidence of going to the gym, having some social, benefits and some social support from other members as well as our own staff. And, and then all of a sudden, a year goes by quick, when you're really thinking in the scheme of your whole life. Mm-hmm. And, those are some of the ones that stand out. At the same time, people that have had back issues or knee issues who never thought they would walk again, or walk again without a limp, or never be able to play golf again, and now they're like, playing like they were 20 years old. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones that stand out, in my mind. So people that thought they were told they would never be able to run or jog, and now they can, enter road races.
Well, that's a really incredible thing. People think of living longer, but sometimes don't think about living a better quality of life. Is that not one of the great things about a regular exercise fitness program?
It's a great point, Vin. And earlier in the program, we had talked about the percentage of people that actually exercise on a regular basis. And how would this question be answered if we were to ask every, all the listening audience, if you could take a pill that could protect your health and enhance your life, you would be buying that pill today, wouldn't you? But exercise and proper physical fitness is that pill. It's just not in the shape of a pill, because it does protect your life in a lot of ways. And certainly many, many studies have shown how it can improve your health. It's just a matter of scheduling it and,
right.
And building it into your lifestyle.
And I might add, from personal experience only, that it's actually fun. It's actually nice to go out to a place where other people are getting healthy and be in that environment. It really does make you feel better mentally and physically, I think.
I believe there's a myth that still propagates out there about no pain, no gain. Many people watch shows that show personal trainers on certain shows that are actually pretty popular, where they're yelling and screaming at the exercise participants about, what to do and how to do it. And obviously it looks painful and looks stressful and doesn't look fun at all.
Right.
So, shows like that don't really do anything to, I think, enhance, that desire to go to a gym and to work with a trainer. So part of that myth about the no pain, no gain, it really is a myth.
Yeah,
you shouldn't be.
Feeds that, right?
It does feed into that, and shows like that I don't really approve of, because I think it does not encourage people to try a gym and see if they can fit into their schedule, because they have that picture in their mind.
Yeah, it's like the Spanish Inquisition. I'm going to be tortured or something.
So do I really want to go to a gym and go through that and pay
right,
to get to be handled like that? So I think that was a good point. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be fun, and I think what you said earlier was that at the end of a workout, you always feel better than the start of the workout.
I absolutely
it's physiological.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I want to add a little note on this one. We talk about endorphins, and physiologically, endorphins act like natural opiates to the body, and they bind to it's a natural hormone that exists in your body, and exercise helps to promote the release of that. And they actually go to those same receptors that help you, quote unquote, feel better, lift your mood. So it's a natural form of that kind of therapy, which is wonderful, has no downside.
Isn't it amazing that the country is experiencing an opiate, disaster out there, pharmaceutical standpoint. Meanwhile, if you just approached it with a little more physical activity, you'd get the natural benefit of those opiates.
Exactly, without all the destructive aspects
going on
of it.
today. Right?
So Lyle, can you just very quickly tell us about MacFit Kids? And we don't have much time, so maybe you can just give us a quick synopsis of what that program is about.
Well, I think 8 years ago, President Obama or Michelle Obama started the initiative. We're putting more focus on the actual physical fitness of children, and that really stirred my imagination and initiative in terms of what we could do in our community to help inspire kids to be more active. And since we had a really large space and indoor soccer fields to work with, it was a natural progression to be able to offer an after-school program where they could run around and get some real natural endorphins going and burn some calories and enjoy being physically active, instead of going home sitting in front of a TV or being on a phone or a computer, which we've evolved into a very technological challenge with children. In fact, even my own, they want to always be in front of a phone. And
that's right. I only see the top of my daughter's head and
got much more sedentary.
So not like I grew up as a kid. Our activity was always out in the street running around.
Right.
It was always tag and and all sorts of games out there. So we started a program. It's basically focused on keeping kids active.
Right.
And obviously it's just as important for parents to set a good example for children by being active themselves. Right. There's no better example than that.
Absolutely.
All great stuff. And unfortunately, we're running out of time. So before we leave, give us your contact information so that if people are interested in getting more.
I think probably the quickest way or the easiest way too is our website is macfitness.net. So if you look up on our website, macfitness.net, we'll have a number of different clicks that you can see our kids programming, personal training, activities, features, and amenities of the club. I think that's probably the best way. We have 2 convenient locations, both located in Kingston, but go to our website for more information. That's probably the easiest.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, and we're going to have you back again.
Oh, absolutely, Lyle. This is wonderful. Thank you.
You're listening to Healthy Ulster Radio. Tune in next week for more information that you can use to keep yourself, your family, and your community healthy and strong. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Healthy Ulster Radio Show, a community affairs presentation from the Ulster County Health Department, sponsored by Health Alliance of the Hudson Valley in Kingston, a member of the WMC Health Network. Thanks for listening, and be sure to join us for another edition of the Healthy Ulster Radio Show next week.